my teaching practices inside the class, outside the class, and I'm trying to impress upon the crux of the issue of how AI can be integrated with the human face and human touch. So it's a kind of getting a synergy by augmenting collaborations, balancing automations and efficiency, because we're in an age where AI integration is too fast. It's so alarmingly intervening into the landscape of either it's teaching or it's like healthcare or education or employment, and so there's a need of more of a human judgment, and we feel that human intervention is more paramount now than before. So what are the domains, the areas where we can have more efficient and productive integrations? And it's proven beyond doubt that our human judgment is irreplaceable. There's no substitution for that. So if we go to the challenges of integrations with human loop, I'll say human loop, we need to avoid these opaque models, and we need to talk about how algorithmic opacity, that means clarity, vividity, and opacity also comes from the governmental frameworks of deploying, or it has to be opaque model has to have concentrated decision making. That means all the stakeholders have to join hands. And if there is a lack of explainability, we need to look into this black box idea of, because so far, unfortunately, most of the government there do not have any clues about these tech giants, how they are entering the space of this, all kinds of domains, and it's deployed LLMs and other all the multimodalities. So surveillance, ethical risks are already heightened, and we need to have clear data privacy concerns, because it's threatening to the individual autonomy. And no wonder that some of the governments, like Australia, has banned the social media completely under 16, and it's already resulted in some productive outcome, some positive outcomes, in fact. So when you talk about job seekers and also about workforces and about I mean all the kinds of applications in the real term, we need to say how practically and how effectively, with efficacy, we can harness this. I mean, this is very powerful tools that we are talking about, including ChatGPT that previous presentation was about. So government regulations is a must, and we need to go to all the kinds of guardrails. In fact, I would say they are the guardrails, and those guardrails are really important as far as the principles and the different kind of restrictions. Or why I don't see the next slide. How I'm going to move to the next one. View. Is it the when I went to do this full screen mode, I need to move back to my side. Okay, yeah, I got it. It is irreplaceable human elements: trust, empathy, and accountability. These three are the key words, the key to how we can infuse some amount of empathy towards the harnessing of these powerful tools. And human judgment guides AI limitations for equitable The word is equitable. That means half of the world still doesn't have the stable network connectivity, and they're not in access of all the kinds of handheld devices and all. The technology works with those who have resources, and so we need to take care of the under resourced people, and we are losing the trust in the sense that we are deploying them everywhere, all across the domains in all fields, like in the hospital management, patients, clients, citizens, but they still have to trust these, because trust comes with the over extended period of usage and genuine understanding. So when we have guardrails like ethical and moral accountability, and that's only up to the stakeholders, the consequence choices, we have some of the control over the choices we make, and some of the contextual context windows. And so we need to interpret nuanced suffering and exercise consequence, because in the health sector, it's life and death kind of scenario. So human-centric breakthroughs, and moreover, I mean, this 26 is going to be cataclysmic, because 25 already reached a scale of where AGI is at the door, is at the doorstep now. So the serendipity, like accidental discoveries, this LLM was itself a serendipity, and we deployed it, and we are way into it. I'm like with huge investment, with huge stakes, which every country after, I mean, huge data centers everywhere. So we're missing the culture connections. We are not letting the researchers work on lived experience and the ability to pivot. So pivoting is important to examine and also to examine the all the research is being taken or under and already been done, whether it's science, social, plasticity of our mind, whether cognitive leave or imagination. So it's not machines alone there that they are to be in the control of all of these. So we need some more creative ideas, more insights, more moral and adaptive judgment, and equitable progress through ethical guidance and flexible navigations. So our core functions like data heavy pattern detections. We have automated license processing, and when we automations goes to the extent that humans are in the background, not in the driving seat. So it's best to, I mean, like hybrid team models. We can have AI interventions in all sectors across domains, but not without human intervention. So combined output, that's what I would call the synergy. That would be great in leveraging all the productivity scales, and we are upscaling all around. So sense making and judgment only comes when humans, they have the metacognition ability. I mean, they know how to think about the thinking, and it's all dependent on what kind of relationship we develop with an empathy with the technology, with the machines. So ethical oversight and governance, these have to be dealt with in the details, and so we need to set some boundaries, and those boundaries can be whether it's collection of the data, whether it's algorithmic interpretations, whether what kind of free will do we have when we go through establishing contacts with these machines and these frameworks. So in order to prevent misuse and unintended consequences that could be lethal, because we are leveraging this technology even to the defense, even into the core sector of health, and core sector employability. We have driverless cars, we have autonomous, to the extent that we have almost everything automated with robotics inside, outside, and workplaces, at home. And Elon Musk Tesla is going to alter the entire scene, Tesla 3. And that's so human-like. So we want to draw the distinction between human and, so we need to mitigate the biases all from the Western hemisphere, and they have an edge, including like China is also leveraging with its open source models, and they're leveraging with DeepSeek and others. Like I come across so many. So there is a need for maintaining data integrity and privacy. We need to have a control over that. So continuously tracking performance, shift in social norms and values, addressing evolved legal standard, and injecting the wisdom apply expert judgment, interpret complex outputs, and there are outputs where we humans are at the background and we don't have any control how elements they produce or so. Sorry, you have 2 minutes left. Yeah, sure. I'm going to wind up. Like foundation ethics, day one, like we need to audit the biases involved. We need to get to the divergent field, and we have to have a samples that's more comprehensive across the cultural backgrounds, across the races. So we need to have a transparent documentations. We need to have that all of the beneficiaries are inclusive, and the evaluation is done on a daily basis, on a continuous basis. Technical metrics, participatory reviews, co-defined performance criteria, and we can couple the metrics with reviews. I mean, ongoing review process, empower marginalized voices in the criteria. I mean, it's very important that the part of the world is not left out of this exploratory is far-reaching with far-reaching consequences, and we need to strike a balance. Where do we end? Where do we stop? So I can see the classroom scenario. I mean, every child is in the capacity of having held devices, and they have an access to all the open source model. But we cannot just let out these, so tangible outcomes and comes only with accountability and ethical pledges. So we can have measurable product requirements like every company has to go by, and they're being now twisted, and they are being held responsible, and the European Union has own framework. The world over, all technology companies, they have to abide by certain rules and regulations. Analytical performance, we building trust from black boxes to accountable services. So the now strategic investment, like we are far too into the deep investment, and probably it's not going to pay back, like even the company. So and it's like we need to translate the complex business models into the structured tasks and queries so that productivity is for the welfare of the commoners. We need to negotiate even ethical trade often, like evaluate moral implications, look into the bias factors, look into the AI-driven decisions, whether they are for the benefit of all of us or just probabilistic. So we cannot go by probability, and so exercise creative leadership. The leaders, all those who are at the helm of affairs, they have to look into the outcomes and impacts and collective performance. So this is a far-reaching salvo, like we cannot leverage without adopting the policies, and we need to have the executive educators. And I'm concerned about the education field, where we into classrooms, and we with the frameworks and competencies, and we have to have an inclusive prosperity and amplified human dignity. That's all I have to talk about, and yeah. So that was my presentation. It was not a presentation, it was research per se. It was my reflections over the years that I have been into the teaching educational landscape, and how we have transitioned from a humble beginning of a very low tech to very high tech, with yeah, so much of AI integrations into the educational world that we are at a loss actually. Most of our educators and we are at a loss. We really don't know how we are going, where are we going, how much we are in control of how we are leveraging these powerful models. And it could be a game changer, but we need to be in control. That's all. I'm waiting for a couple of questions if there are any. Should I stop sharing or leave it like? I can stop share. Are you done? Yeah, because my time is up. Sorry. Sorry, I was checking because they extend another 5 minutes. So we finish at 3:15. Okay. So, any questions? Yes. Okay, any question for discussion?
So thank you very much, Mohammed. You have addressed so many issues regarding very concurrent issue. One more issue is that, okay, you talked a lot of, okay, your ideas are very clear regarding this. But how could we humanize? Okay, what would be the strategies, the best one that we may follow and practice for our students in classroom and outside the classroom? What's
Yeah,
your suggestion?
to begin with, we can have, as an educator in the classroom, we have a control over our action researches that we can continue with. Like we do reflect in our classroom practices on a daily basis, and we can align it with the researches so far done, and we can see how in a small measure, if we pilot programs, we can have a pilot programs on certain of these LLMs or whatever tools we allow them to. So we can have multiple scenarios where we can switch on and switch off. Like we can deploy just let's say ChatGPT or Gemini 3, and I can think of I know there's too many powerful models in the offing. In 26 we are going to have like the entire plethora of so many language models. They will be more robust. This is multi models, like text to speech, speech to image, and image to videos, and videos are human like, and like, so it's really really mind boggling to what extent can we go.
Thank you, Prof. I got your point. Thank you very much. Okay, we open to the next question for Ms. Pascan. Maybe from the participants or anyone who want to give questions. Anyone? Okay. No, okay, we go to the next presenter. Okay, our next presenter is Muhammad Firdaus. Okay, I can see you there.